Good morning. Wanted to do a little current events video because a lot happened overnight, and I put in my description a little bit of my morning Bible reading, but I didn't even know about it until after my morning reading, and I was all of a sudden something pops up on my feed, and all of a sudden all this news starts coming about, and so what's going on is we have Manchester, England. There was a bombing there at an Ariana Grande concert, and if I said her name wrong, I'm sorry. I'm obviously not much of a pop culture follower in the pop culture music scene, but I believe I pronounced it right, Ariana Grande. But 22 people died at this concert, and apparently the bombing happened as concert goers were beginning to exit. The only saving grace is that it exploded soon enough that only 22 people died, and it's sad that we're in a day and age where only 22 people died is a blessing, and because this is a horrible tragedy that has occurred, and I'm without words on this, and I'm heartbroken about this. Not only this, but also there was an ISIS-related shooting, gunmen, people attacking in the Philippines, and I don't have much detail at all on that. Except for the Philippine troops, not American troops, but Philippine troops have been dealing with this in some way, shape, or form. And this is another act that happened just in the past few hours in the Philippines. I don't understand. I guess the Christian in me says, you know what? People come to God by choice. They don't come to God by force. And to me, this is what is to me the issue with terrorism for political or religious reasons. Forced, and it also has to do with things like, well, that's a pretty bad shake there. It also has to do with things like anytime you force change, it is not going to be the lasting change you want it to be. We experienced this with recovery of drug addicts when court orders people to take AA classes, so they have to do it, and so pretty soon people are gaming the system and run around and just get a bunch of signatures stating that they were at a meeting, whether they had anything to do with it or not, and then they go out and drink. Or they go to the meeting. Sure, I'll go to the meeting, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to drink. I'll attend the meeting. I'm doing it because I have to, not because I want to. But it's the same thing to a much greater degree with forced religious observance. As why, you kind of you start your kids off going to Sunday school because they accept it as what they do. They get to a level where they have a choice, and you can, it's like I can make my son go to church, and I do have him go to church, but he's relatively agnostic, mostly because he just doesn't want to be bothered with it, with the big questions in life yet. But forcing people through terrorism to follow your faith is not going to work, but they do it anyway, and they feel justified in doing so. And I don't care what the faith is. If you're forcing people to do it at the point of a gun, it's not going to work. If you're forcing people at the point of a gun to follow your political beliefs, it's not going to work. And the human nature is going to take over. We're going to say, no, screw you, we're not doing it. A third thing, which is certainly at least one of the more natural things that happen in the world, still relatively tragic, but more natural, is Roger Moore died. Okay, and Roger Moore of of fame and film and James Bond, and he did many other things. Quite the dramatic actor. He died at age 89. Had a short bout with cancer, and I have to tell you, cancer sucks. The only blessing is he did live a long and fruitful life. He did good things with his time and his money. But I wanted to touch on this because this the terrorism that we haven't heard much of terrorism lately in the past 6 months, a year, and maybe I just haven't been paying attention, but this one really was all over the place this morning, and if you if you want to bring up the Crusades, I can tell you you're probably thinking the wrong thing about the Crusades. You don't know what actually happened. There was 400 years of aggression before the Crusades happened. So and people, and they never tell you about that, do they? But if you the concept of religion by force is never going to have a lasting effect. You are going to have a rebellion. And that's why Christianity depends so much on choice. We depend on God knows our hearts. He gave us free will and choice. He gave us the ability to choose. I mean, you could even be argued that he gave us evidence to choose something other than him. In things like the fossil record and in things like the age of the earth. I mean, you can go either way. I mean, personally, I believe in an old earth, in the ancient earth idea. I do believe the earth is billions of years old. But I'm not. I'm not alone in that as a Christian. I also know that there are others who believe that the earth is in the young earth concept. And just because I choose to believe elsewise on that and still believe that God created it and did this and gave us a choice to follow him. He does not want forced following. Without faith, he is nothing. Okay? And that's his idea, is that without us choosing, then we're no better than the animals. And so to me, that is so important. Such an important aspect of my faith is that I have chosen. And we can talk about the concept of predestination and things like that. All till you're blue in the face. It's a very complicated concept. So anyway, that's kind of all I have today. I wanted to get this off my chest about Manchester, England. That to me, this is senseless violence that actually accomplishes less than the opposite of what they want. This is not outreach. Outreach is going out and helping people and telling them we're doing this to show the love of Christ to you. All right, anyway, I'm signing out. Enough shaky video for this morning. I'll post this up as soon as I get a chance. God bless people.